Hello again, 6153 students. This talk will provide you with some guidelines on how to develop a brand new instrument, a brand new test, a scale for measuring a construct. Well, it's important for you to understand that to develop a quality instrument, we can't just expect to simply slap together some items off the top of our heads. It's important to understand that a lot of research goes into the development and validation of solid instruments. And so having a solid instrument is a very important thing, both for research and for clinical work. So I'm going to identify 5 things that need to be done, and so let's get started. The first thing that needs to be done if you're going to be developing a brand new instrument is to find a team of experts in this area. The area is bullying, to stick with our example. Find a bunch of experts on bullying and ask them what they consider important in the definition of bullying. What are the important things in bullying? What should one measure if one wants to measure bullying? At least within a given age range that you're looking at. Experts are the people who are going to have the most, the best understanding of what it is, the most complete understanding of the theory of bullying, and that's a good place to start. Much better to start with a team of experts than to just think of items off the top of your head, even if you are an expert yourself in bullying. A group of experts is going to be much more likely to be able to come up with and think of the range of aspects of bullying. Asking one person, you're inviting the possibility, more of a possibility of error. When you have a committee, when you have a team, a group of people, you're going to be more likely to get a high quality answer. So ask a team of experts what bullying is. Once you have their description of what bullying is for the age range at which you are going to be measuring it, you want to write some test items or test questions. And you want those items to represent, to the best of your ability, all the different things that the experts said about what bullying is. They have provided you with an operational definition, and you are going to try to develop items, initially write some items that are, to your best ability, going to represent that operationalization of bullying that the experts told you. And you want to write a lot of items. I mean, if they came up with 7 different types of bullying, you want to write, I would say, maybe 10 to 15 different questions or items for each of the different parts of bullying that they identified. You want to start with a pretty big bank of test questions, pretty big group of them. So you write your items. You think they represent what the experts said pretty well. Okay. Then you want to go back to the experts and show them your bank of items that you wrote. Show it to them. You can just type them all out, give it to them, and ask them for feedback. How well do the items cover the construct of bullying? Do they cover the breadth of the concept of bullying? That's one thing you're going to want your experts to advise you on. If you're missing some coverage of some of the aspects that they see of bullying, you're going to want to write some more items that cover those adequately. And again, write more items than you think you'll need. Are there any aspects of bullying that the items don't address at all? Again, if so, write some more items. How well do the items address each aspect of bullying? Ask the experts to make any changes that are needed to make the items clearer Sometimes the items may seem clear to you, but the experts may say, you know, this word needs to be changed, that phrase needs to be changed. You didn't say anything about this. You need to add a phrase that says this. So you really want to depend on your experts to help you write those items, because the better your initial item bank is, the less work you'll have ahead of you later on when you do your statistical analysis. You want to check the reading level of the items and make sure it's appropriate for your audience, depending on their age. And then you want to pilot the items on a few individuals from the age range, from the population that you're intending the test to be for. So if you're expecting to give your test to kids who are 10 to 15 years old, find a few kids, maybe 5 or 6 kids, a convenient sample even is fine, of kids in that age range. Ask them to take it and ask for their feedback. How easy was it for them to understand the questions? Did any of the questions seem confusing? Just ask them for their qualitative feedback, their opinions on how hard it was to understand the question. What does this? They may have been confused with some word that you thought was clear, but they somehow misunderstood it or were puzzled by it. I'm speaking from experience because I developed a questionnaire. I developed an instrument for as part of my dissertation, and so these are things that are important to do. So thus far you've found a team of experts in that field. You've asked them what are the important components of the construct. You've written a large bank of test questions, and you've shown them, given them back to the experts, and had them verify that the items are clear and that they cover the construct adequately. You've checked the reading level of the items, and then you've given it to a few kids and gotten their feedback from their point of view as to how easy they are to read and understand. Now, fourth, you want to give the test to a whole bunch of people. You want to find a sample from your population, a sizable sample from your population of interest. You want to give them the items, ask them to complete the questionnaires. And then you want to type their answers into a database. Fifth, you want to subject the answers that they gave to all the items to a factor analysis to find out how well the items relate to each other. Do they relate to each other in ways that are predicted by the theory? Do the items clump together in ways that are consistent with bullying models or theory? And so you factor analyze the responses that your initial sample gave. You may find that some of the items are redundant and that they ask exactly the same thing as other items, in which case they're not really adding anything of value, and you can toss them, and there are statistical ways to identify those. You may find that other items that seemed like they measured bullying at face value, they had face validity, but they don't have actual validity. They actually don't go along with any of the other items, in that the responses to that one oddball item didn't fit into the pattern of responses on any of the other items. In a case like that, you need to ask yourself, read through the item carefully and ask yourself, does this item represent some important dimension of bullying that I somehow missed? Or is it something that measures a completely different construct? And that's something that you would need to consider carefully in light of theory, and maybe go back to your experts on to help you make that decision. You might need to toss the item out. And the rest of the items, look how they clump together, and see if the ways they clump are consistent with, in the example of bullying theory. You may find that some items measure something that's clearly physical bullying, pushing, shoving, punching, kicking. Hey, that's physical bullying. You may find that other items that have also clump together, and when you read them, they have to do with calling names, saying spiteful things, and they may all have a verbal component. And so it may be very easy to label that factor verbal bullying. And you may find another clump, a third clump, that has to do with, Twitter and Facebook, and you may realize, oh, these things are all cyber. We can call these cyberbullying. So you may, in my made-up example, come up with 3 factors in your brand new bullying measure. You may have physical bullying and verbal bullying and cyberbullying. And then you go back and talk to the experts, and they may agree that although those 3 things do measure bullying, they measure bullying. And your data indicate that these 3 things are classifications or types, subtypes of bullying. They may end up being subscales in your bullying instrument. But the point here is that that developing a brand new test that you intend to be a well-constructed test, a really good test. Maybe you can even sell it. Maybe you can market it through ProEd or something. To develop one, it takes a lot of effort and planning, and because you want the scale to be psychometrically strong. You want it to be consistent with theory. You want each item to contribute in a meaningful way to the total value of the scale. You want to, of course, you'll be looking at the reliability and validity indices and checking those out with multiple samples of individuals. And so these are some of the steps that are commonly used in developing a new instrument. Thank you. Talk to you again soon.